Welcome everybody to the Firebase Z main Easter egg guide. It's actually a super simple and easy map to beat. Just a few things before we get started. Number one, you will need a ray rifle for about halfway through this Easter egg. So if you want to get started on that early in the game, that's something that I recommend. I'll have a link down below on how to get a guaranteed one in the description. And if there are any more patches, any more updates to this Easter egg, I'll leave them in the very top of the description. So just before you get started watching this, check the top of the description. Make sure there's nothing else that Treyarch has updated since the time I made this tutorial. And without further ado, let's go ahead and beat Firebase Z together. So the first step of the Easter egg is obviously to turn on all three of the power sites, and once all three generators are on, you'll get a little notification saying return to Revnov. You'll return, and you'll see that the Pack-a-Punch machine will form, and Revnov will start talking to you. Make sure you hold square to get his voice activation, and then you need to head back to Dr. Peck. He's under here in the mission control area. This shutter will now be open. He'll basically say, F you, I'm not helping you, I don't care, filthy American scum, anyway, all that good stuff. Anyway, once he finishes his spiel there, you're going to head back to Revnov, talk to him again, and he's going to give you a key card that is going to only allow you to access a couple different locations in the facility. So after getting the key card, you're going to head straight across from where Pack-a-Punch is, and the first of three locations in which you need to get the things to build the true serum is in this cabinet right here. Swipe the key card, it'll open up, grab that serum, and then you're going to head to the next one, which is over here underneath the big dome in engineering. You're going to swipe the key card on this little cabinet. Same thing will happen. It'll open up, reveal the second part to the true serum. You now have 2 out of the 3 parts, and then the third and final part is over here in the Colonel's office above Jug. There's only one entrance into this room. It's obviously the one that's very different than all the other ones in this area. Swipe that key card. You're going to grab this little serum inside of here, and you will have all 3. And then once you have all 3, head over to the field hospital, and then you're going to go ahead and start mixing the compounds. It's going to take about 20 seconds, and after it is almost done, it will spawn in a bunch of hellhounds. You just need to kill all those hellhounds. It's pretty easy to not die during the hellhounds because they obviously just jump at you and then explode themselves, so it's not too bad. Go ahead and inject that serum into the air ventilator right there, and then you're going to pick the entire contraption up and take that to the dome area where you can place this just next to where we were and place it on this giant air ventilator, and I'll start ventilating this true serum into Dr. Peck's office. Talk to him, he'll start hallucinating, he'll start dancing and all that good stuff, and then you're on to the next step. So eventually you'll get the option to talk to Peck again. Make sure you take that option, and then he'll tell you about going to the data center. So arrive at the data center, and at the top floor there's a memory transference device, and you'll be able to unlock it and take these brand new traps out of this thing that are very much like Pokeballs. I'm not kidding, I'll show you what I mean in just a second, but you're gonna need mimics now. So this trap is essentially a Pokeball. You throw it on the ground, and whenever a zombie or mimic is close enough to it, you need to double tap the use button to actually try to suck it in. As you can see, this mimic is trying to be sucked in. It goes inside, it'll wait a second, and if you don't catch it, it'll pop back out and break your trap, and then you have to go get another one from that location that we were just at. If you have another teammate, my teammate here threw his down, and he tried to capture it, and it actually works this time. So you need to go ahead and capture a mimic in the planning offices. There's 3 different locations that actually matter. The planning office is one of them, and 9 times out of 10, if done correctly, you'll put the little trap right into the machine, and it'll start telling you the memories. And you're looking for, if you have the subtitles on, Solikov, Brahms, or Zabine. And if you don't feel like turning subtitles on, you can just listen, and if Weaver tells you, hey, that's one of the memories, we just have 2 more to go, or like, hey, there's half the code or something like that, you know it's correct. But basically you're looking for each one of these 3 special mimics in each one of these areas. As you can see, this mimic is in the Colonel's office. This is where the second location is. You need to capture a mimic. The first one is the planning offices. The second one rather is the Colonel's office. So as you can see, this one was low enough health. I go ahead and collect it, and I take it back to the planning office. I put it in here to access the memories. You insert the trap with the full mimic from there, and as you can see, this one is Zabine, and that is the second person that I need. So we just have one more to do. You need to go to the spawn area into the scientist quarters, and you need to capture another mimic in the scientist quarters, and if done correctly, you'll go ahead and pick that one up, and then if you have captured it in the scientist quarters, it will actually tell you, hey, this is Solikov, and there you go. There's 3 out of 3. You have all 3 of them done. Again, if you do it and it doesn't work, just go ahead and try it again. We've got it to work 100% of the time by the second time, so go ahead and just try it again and capture another one. Sometimes it helps to run around in that area, and it'll spawn in the specific mimics that spawn in that area, and that's just the easiest way to do it. So stay in that area, it'll eventually work, and there you go. You're on to the next step once you have all 3 of the codes. So again, I really recommend turning on subtitles for this step to make sure that in each location you get the correct soldier story. Sometimes if you insert the incorrect mimic, it'll basically tell you a story that is not anything to do with what you need, and it won't give you part of the code. But if you have all 3 correct parts of the code, it will spit out a floppy disk. You take that floppy disk over to the planning offices, you insert it into that computer, and then you go over to the OPC and it will open up a destabilized portal, and you go talk to Peck. He basically tells you how to stabilize the portal, and you need to go ahead and wait until Mr. Russian Man gives you this code that will open up this cabinet. As soon as he gives you the code, you can open it up and it will give you a little radar device in order to dig up some parts. So in order to dig, we need to go grab the shovel. Very easy step again here. Head over, and it's the leftmost hut in the scorched defense area. It always spawns there, no multiple spawn ports. Go ahead and grab that shovel, and then head over to this open lot right next to engineering and right next to the planning offices, and dig up this little ether crystal. Now, the mimics will replicate this, and if you get this wrong, a ton of mimics spawn in and you can't guess again until the next round. But there's a trick to figure out which one is the real one and which one are the mimics. The mimics have this corrupted mist around the crystal where it's a very dark colored mist that obviously looks corrupted, but there is a very pure mist around the real one. So you need to look all in this area. It can be in the planning offices, it can be underneath, it can be in the engineering hallway. Look around until you see this pure white mist. Once you find this white mist, this is the correct one. You'll be able to pick it up and you'll be good to go. If you click the incorrect one, a bunch of mimics will spawn in and you have to fight all of them and you have to wait for next round. So the next one is over here in the jungle defense. Again, you're going to use that shovel. You're going to dig it up. It'll start a little lockdown step. It's not even a soul box or anything. You just have to survive here for about 2 or 3 minutes here. Once you finish that, it will basically end the orb and you can pick that back up. Again, recommend every single one of the people in your team is in this area because basically everything outside of that little orb will start taking damage and you'll basically be dying if you're not inside of here. So I recommend the entire team gets together before you activate that one. But now we're on to the last one. So for the next step, you'll need a Ray K84 either from the box, a legendary reward on the kind of challenge trials board, or you need to build the guaranteed one. I just recommend building the guaranteed one. There's a link down below in the description to build it if you guys don't know how to do that already. But basically unearth this little cylinder thing. You're gonna go ahead and see it zip around the map and it'll keep running away from you until you get a charged bullet right on top of it. It'll stop moving and you can go ahead and pick it up right there. Super, super easy to do. Again, just make sure you get that charged bullet, hit it, and pick it up. Now, you need to head to each one of the 3 different locations in the map where you actually turned on power, and you're going to go ahead and insert the crystals and get the crystals charged up. You will now have 3 individually charged crystals there, and you need to take them over to the OPC where you will see the portal has actually been destroyed by Peck because he tricked you. So basically the characters will start talking about realigning the satellite, doing the satellites, and basically bringing power back up to the base. And once they do that, you're going to need to hop on this little realign the satellite dish mini game here, I guess you could call it, in this area. So you're going to move this little beacon around and you're going to look at all of the different satellites until you find the satellite with a question mark on it. You'll see like American satellites, Russian satellites, but once you find the one with the question mark on it, go ahead and activate that satellite, and if done correctly, Dr. Peck will start talking. If you do it incorrectly, another one of the characters will start talking and say like, it's wrong or whatever. But once you do this, Dr. Peck will basically be freaking out and they'll send a orbital beam down that will repower up the base and open up the final part to the boss fight. So once you're ready to boss fight, go over to the OPC once again, and as soon as you hit this button, it only has to be hit by 1 player, just FYI, but as soon as you hit this button, you're going into the boss fight, and I'll just explain to you guys how to beat this right now. So there's literally just 1 rule in this boss fight. One thing you do not do, you do not go directly underneath Orta.
God.
All right, boys, here we go.
Nice.
All right, I'm ring of firing. What? I'm down! So obviously that is not a joke. Do not go underneath Orta. He will one-shot kill you if you are underneath his big club whenever he swings it at you. And really my only tips for this boss fight is take your time. There's no sort of wipe mechanic that we found. We spent a long time on this boss fight because we were not very set up going in the second time. And it took a while to kill him. And honestly, it was fine. Ray rifles are really, really good, obviously. And really, you just want to take your time and kill mini bosses. Don't try to ignore the mini bosses. Don't try to ignore the dogs. Just kill everything. And then once you have a spare moment, then go ahead and start firing. And the really, really just main thing you need to worry about is staying alive, because you have everything at your disposal. You have a Wonder Fizz with every single perk. You have a pack-a-punch machine where you can pack-a-punch everything. And as long as you have the points in the salvage, you can even go over and craft monkey bombs on the side little table. You can literally have a permanent monkey bomb up because everything is accessible in this boss fight. There's nothing that is kind of keeping you from just being absolutely OP during this boss fight, except for just having enough points and having enough material. So again, take your time. You see, I even went to go over, buy some perks for quick revive to revive him. Like there's really just no reason to rush this boss fight. Shotguns aren't very good. I would just take in a kind of longer range gun, whether it be a ray rifle or just like an M16, because you can't really get close enough to actually shotgun Orta without getting absolutely stomped on, like I learned at the very beginning. So anyway, just take it slow, take it easy, use Ring of Fire to kill lots of the mini bosses. It doesn't actually do any more damage to Orta, but obviously you don't have to reload, which therefore makes your DPS higher because you don't have to reload at all. You can just keep on firing without having to reload, and eventually you will take him down and it will be easy peasy. So that's about it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please leave a like, please subscribe. Obviously, we are going to be streaming this map a ton, going for the world record, reacting to world records on the speedruns and everything like that. I think the speedrun's going to be super interesting for this map, so subscribe if you guys want to see more, and if you want to just see more zombies in general, I've got a ton on my channel, and you know where to find it all. You guys know it. Anyway, we'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really enjoyed this map. I think it's definitely one of the best ones that we've had in a while, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.